This video was made possible by you. Every sale of our limited edition calendar supports what we do here at
How to destroy the
and
universe.
our brand new 12,024 calendar is our most spectacular yet. Don't miss out on your chance to earn a special piece of Kurzgesagt history. The universe is going to die one day. But how? Well, it turns out our cosmic fate will be decided by a fight between two titans. The two warriors deciding the fate of the universe. Our universe was born 14 billion years ago in the Big Bang and has been expanding ever since. For some reason, new empty space is being created out of nothing between galaxies. Space itself is becoming bigger. Will it
With the
go
light
on
faded,
forever,
a new power
or will it
coalesced and
stop
came
one
to
day?
be. The void.
Today, we think the universe is at the mercy of two cosmic demigods fighting for dominance. The first one is all the stuff in the universe: galaxies, gas, dark matter. While they're very different, they just want to do one thing: get together. Matter is attracted by matter, pulled together by gravity. And gravity also pulls on the universe as a whole, slowing the expansion that started at the Big Bang. Our second warrior is empty space. While it seems, well, empty and powerless, empty space has an intrinsic energy. We don't really have an idea what this energy is or why it's there. It's really a placeholder that fills a blank in our understanding of reality.
Dude, it's just like the void. It's so sick, dude. I love it. I love the tentacles coming out of it and shit. Come on.
But it's got a cool name: dark energy.
Dark energy.
Dark energy
Void.
pushes things apart, a sort of anti-gravity that accelerates the cosmic expansion. So, we have all the matter in the universe pulling in, and empty space infused with dark energy pushing out. Whoever wins will kill the universe in fun ways. But who will win?
Buckle up.
It all depends on the mysterious dark energy. Will its strength stay the same? A common assumption just because it keeps our models simple? Or will it get weaker? Or will it get more powerful over time? 1. Constant dark energy.
So if it doesn't
Heat
change,
death.
if
The strength of dark energy stays constant, it will win the war. Since space is growing, matter is getting more and more diluted, like sugar in a cup being filled with more and more tea. But as the universe expands, new empty space is created, which brings more dark energy, which pushes everything apart even more, which creates more empty space, which makes the universe grow even faster. A feedback loop that will make the universe expand at an exponential rate. Every 12 billion years or so, it will double in diameter forever. But while dark energy is winning the war, matter is winning at least one battle. At short distances, it can keep things together. Local galaxy bubbles can overcome the push of dark energy. In a few billion years, our local group of galaxies will merge into a gigantic ball with trillions of stars. It will soon become our last view of the cosmos. All other galaxies will be pushed away by the expansion. For us, it will look like the rest of the universe is rushing away, until in a few 100 billion years, we won't see other galaxies
about
at
the
all.
concept.
We'll
Just
be
enjoy
alone,
the video.
surrounded by a seemingly infinite dark void. In about 100 trillion years, all the stars of our supergalaxy will have died out. All gas that could create new stars has been consumed, and no new gas can come in. The galaxy will be dark and filled with stellar corpses. Over quadrillions of years, white dwarfs and neutron stars will slowly cool until becoming truly dark, turning off the last lights of the universe. All structures, big and small, will slowly dissolve. One by one, all dead stars and planets will leave the supergalaxy, which slowly dissolves over sextillions of years. Every object will end up on its own, which means that dark energy takes over again, creating more and more empty space between everything. Objects will be so far apart that it will be as if each had a universe for itself. Not much happens anymore until, in a Google years, all black holes will have evaporated. In the end, entropy and dark energy won't stop until their job is finished. Over time spans you might as well call forever, all remaining structures might even dissolve into single particles that will be pushed away from each other by an ever-growing empty space. Imagine a whole universe with just a single lonely particle traveling through nothingness. This is the final state, the true end, the big freeze, or heat death. A completely featureless, cold, and eternally expanding universe. Nothing will ever be able to happen again. Forever. Whew, well, that was a bummer.
That's just
what else
one
could
option,
happen?
though.
2. Increasing.
That is if the dark energy's power stays constant. That's just one of 3 options, so buckle up for the next ones, because I think these ones are more significant and probably more likely to occur in WoW.
Dark energy. Ever be able to happen again. Forever. Whew, well, that was a bummer. What else could happen? 2. Increasing dark energy. Big rip. What if dark energy gets stronger? In this case, empty space won't just win over matter, it will literally rip it to pieces. In the Big Freeze scenario, matter lost the war but won some battles. But here, matter wins nothing. Dark energy is growing stronger over time, overcoming the pull of gravity and creating new empty space at smaller and smaller distances. In this scenario, things will escalate quickly. It could start as early as 20 billion years from now. First, dark energy will create empty space between individual galaxies. Our galaxy will leave its local cluster and begin to drift alone in a rapidly inflating and ever darker cosmos. Some billion years later, empty space starts to push between individual stars, dissolving the galaxy. If you live on a planet in a star system, the night sky will start looking sad and gloomy, as other stars are pushed too far away to be seen. A few million years after the sky turns dark, dark energy starts to create empty space inside star systems. Your planet is pushed away from its star, and all life in the universe freezes to death. There's not much time left, as a few months later, dark energy is creating empty space inside solid objects.
So far, I'm like, how does the Void not win with all this taken into account? Just wait. Just wait. Just wait. Just wait. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me, guys. Just fucking please. Just wait.
Stars, neutron stars, planets, asteroids, everything solid is being ripped into pieces. If you're on a spaceship, you only have a short time before you are ripped apart. Half an hour later, even atoms are destroyed as new space is being created so furiously that electrons and nuclei are separated. Now the universe has just a fraction of a second left. In this final moment, only dying black holes remain, drained and defeated by dark energy. They're tiny, septillions of times smaller than an atom, and they explode with the power of a trillion supernovae in a trillionth of an octillionth of a second. Finally, the very fabric of reality is torn to its core, obliterating space-time itself. The Big Rip. Space and time have lost their meanings, making it impossible to predict what will happen next. Whew. 3.
That one is the one we can't allow to happen. That's the biggest one. We can't let that happen. The Void can't get stronger. It can't. We can't allow that to happen, otherwise it will literally sunder the entire fabric of reality.
Decreasing dark energy.
Now it's time for the last one.
Have lost their meanings,
In my opinion,
making
the best
it impossible to predict what will
and
happen
what
next.
we want to happen, if one of the 3 has to happen.
3. Decreasing dark energy. Big crunch. Poor matter. But there is one scenario where it wins. If the strength of dark energy decreases with time, and if this reduction is strong enough, the pull of gravity will win, and all the things in existence will move towards each other, unfortunately making the universe collapse into itself. No one knows when this might begin, but it could be as soon as a few 100 million years. What will it look like? As the universe begins to contract, over billions of years, galaxies and galaxy clusters approach each other until they eventually collide. They're mostly made of empty space, so a collision is like the gentle merger of 2 clouds. At any rate, first galaxies and later individual stars get closer and closer. As the universe goes on collapsing, you might worry about stars and planets eventually crashing against each other. This will happen, but it's not your worst problem. If space itself shrinks, this also concentrates all the radiation emitted in the past by all the stars, supernovae and quasars that ever existed. Now, empty space is filled with radiation. The dark nothing between stars is heating up, making life unpleasant and then impossible as planets just burn. Slowly at first, then rapidly, space gets as hot as it was after the Big Bang. Stars are pretty hot, but now the space around them is hotter. They're literally boiled from the outside. As the universe collapses into itself, all galaxies and all stars merge into a single ball of hot plasma. The Big Crunch
Azeroth
is complete. From here on, there are two possibilities. Either the universe will collapse completely into a singularity, a point of zero size and infinite density without space and time, the way it might have been before the Big Bang. Or the universe could bounce back, restarting the cosmic expansion, creating a new baby universe.
That's what we want.
Somewhat poetic, really. Everything died, but everything is reborn. But to be clear, we have zero evidence that this has happened before or will in the future. So what will happen? Most scientists think that dark energy will stay constant, so the likely fate of the universe is heat death, eternal cold, and utter boredom. Which seems sad, but has a huge upside. In this scenario, we get to have the universe for the longest. It gives us trillions of years to expand, jump from star to star, maybe even from galaxy to galaxy.
And in my opinion, this is where like Logic of the Titans comes in. The longer that we can have it, the longer that we can prolong it, the longer that we can have it for. And that's all good, right? Well, not necessarily.
In this scenario, we get to have the universe for the longest. It gives us trillions of years to expand, jump from star to star, maybe even from galaxy to galaxy. We might even find a way to keep consciousness around forever. We don't know. So we just have to wait and see, and make the most of the amazing universe we have right now.
Super good video. I really liked it a lot. So in WoW terms, either Azeroth hits the... So Sargeras, I think, is trying to hit the reset button, creating a new universe. I think that's why Sargeras stabbed Azeroth with the power infused from Argus in the sword. It's because I think that he's trying to meld that back together and give Azeroth the power of not just creation, but also destruction. So that as a supreme being, she can undo all of it and then rebuild it if she wants to. Either Azeroth is the reset button, creating a new universe, right? Or the Titans keep everything in stasis to keep themselves and everything alive the longest. Or the void just swallows everything and everyone. Pretty much. Yep. I think, you know, to me, I think from a cosmic being level, premise of like resetting the universe and stuff like that, I would definitely lean towards, you know, the birth of a new universe. I think I'd prefer that one, because I think it's rather selfish to be like, oh, well, the whole universe can just last as long as we possibly can get it to last, and that's a good thing, right? Well, no, not necessarily. It's good for you, but it means that maybe nothing else lives ever again after you, which is, I don't know, kind of selfish. You know, it's the idea of selflessness, sacrifice, right? That that you are able to, you know, sacrifice yourself for something that you may not even see. Which of the Titans is accelerationist? Well, I would think Sargeras is definitely. I think it's an interesting question, because when you think about some of these concepts which they speak about in the video, some of them you might even be able to, like, sometimes I kind of like think about them in terms of how the universe exists now. Like how far away the stars seem to be from us, how spread out everything is. And it made me think like, maybe we're potentially like already through part of one of these concepts, so to speak. Like, not to say that one of these concepts has to be what's going on. I just think that it gives three scientifically found, like, grounded explanations for like what could occur. So I just think it kind of seems like Sargeras is willing to press that reset button. The Titans are not willing to press that reset button. And the quarrel between the two of them seems to be kind of allowing the void to be the one that's kind of creeping in, you know? So wouldn't WoW universe be super condensed then? You can see a bunch of planets in the proximity at all times. Maybe the universe is crunching. It could very well be. And there is always a possibility that like things have changed, like as the universe has gone from a state of expansion to retraction. You know, maybe there's a possibility that the Titans were for a long time doing the right thing, doing what they were supposed to do. Maybe for the expansion of the universe, they were doing the thing that they're meant to do. And then maybe when they realized that the universe was starting to shrink back into itself, they kind of started to panic because they realized that they too were going to go, that they were going to be pulled in with that. So maybe there's a possibility that like And I like to think that the Titans weren't always like bad or like doing stupid things. Like, I don't believe that that's always been the case. I think that something changed among their thought process, something about their existence more than likely like freaked them out. It was a very humanistic trait. So there's that possibility, you know, the selfish gods kind of, you know, not wanting to do it, but the maybe the sad truth being that like the void is like closing in around us, and like if we don't reset this thing, then like the universe will die from heat death, you know, or the universe reality itself may sunder, and then like nothing can ever be ever again if like we break space time. So Tiny Dragon Gamer, thanks so much for the Prime. It's possible the Titans were ordering the universe after a Big Bang event, after tons of chaos, but now are overreaching kind of deal. Could be. I mean, you can look at it like a teeter-totter. With on one side you have order, and on one side you have chaos. And the Titans were all sitting on the order side, and the fucking teeter-totter looked like this. And so Sargeras exists to go, and now it's a little bit more even, right? And you know, maybe trending away from just order, and then they take Sargeras out of it, and they put him over here, and just like that, it's right back to order. So I just don't think that necessarily, like that ebb and flow, it's like, let me put it this way. When the universe trends back this direction, back to order, something is going to happen here. Something has to happen here. That's what I think. Is that when we go from order to balance to chaos, etc., like something is always going to tilt that fulcrum. The fulcrum wavers, you know, it's always going to be balanced by some type of equilibrium. At least that's the idea. Now, Farim's writing in Zereth Mortis, his biggest fear was the realization that he came to regarding the nature of the universe. So Farim is saying, oh, the creators, the first ones, balanced everything, so all these things ebb and flow, right? You have the different forces that all have their purpose, and everything is working in this big mechanism that we don't understand. And that's when it comes to the realization, for him comes a realization, wait a second, what if you were able to tip the scales of that equilibrium? What if you were able to actually, like, force imbalance? And I think that what he's talking about is order. Like, the premise, what he says is, you know, if the jailer's plot exposed even the faintest of cracks in this cosmic balance thing, I'm afraid that someone can exploit it. And so Farim says himself, like, you know, the real threat is like any one cosmic force, like coming complete, like going out of balance. It doesn't necessarily even matter which one it is. It will throw things out of equilibrium. And if you can completely dismantle the concept of equilibrium in the cosmos, then that, I think, is the type of event that breaks fucking space-time, you know? That, like, breaks causality and really fucks things up. So, I think that that's what Farim is primarily afraid of. Farim also says that his greatest fear, actually, is the idea that perhaps the design of the first ones was not meant to endure. And that is a concept that terrifies him. And I love that Farim went into that, because I think he's right. I think that he is scared because he probably doesn't grasp that the song of creation that's being sung and the song that should never end is a song that, like, has a second part to it. You know what I mean? I know that's like a really, like, philosophical bullshit thing to say, but, like, I mean it in the terms of, like, the song has to end so that, like, the voice can rest a little bit, you know? And so that the song can be sung again. And I just think, you know, every song has a chorus. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, too, is that, like, there's gonna be a period of transition. There's gonna be a period of great change. And I think that, Farim is scared of the premise that, like, the cycle in itself is not designed to work eternally. Not in the way that he perceives it. And I think that is to say that, like, if the song, he says, you know, if the song of the first ones, the song must not end, but if the first ones aren't going to sing it, who will? Who will sing it? He talks about how, you know, where Azeroth is reality could be the very nexus of the whole cosmos, where everything kind of is the confluence into this area. And so I just kind of think that the writing is on the wall now what Azeroth is. So first, the first ones, for those who still aren't there, the first ones are Azeroth. And Azeroth is everything, for the record. Wait, isn't everything already screwed? Like Legion Impaled implied that Azeroth was one of, if not the only, non-corrupted or destroyed planet left, and given everything else we've seen in WoW's cosmology, weren't we always screwed? What does that mean? Like, if you consider the inevitable cycle of the cosmos as us being screwed, sure, but you guys gotta, like, open your eyes a little bit and realize that this is a lot bigger than you. It's a lot bigger than your character. It's a lot bigger than a mortal life. I'm just saying, like, we're important only because we're from Azeroth. Otherwise, we're not important. We're not. Like, mortals from Azeroth are important, but otherwise it's not that, like, it's not about us. Are you ruling out Argus as a first one, or is that still in contention? It's probably got to be in contention, especially considering his involvement in the Shadowlands. It's bigger than all of us, right? Our lives are only one of 6 powers, assuming we're life-aligned. We're not life-aligned. As that's the point of mortals. We're everything. That's the whole point. That's the entire point, is that mortals are everything. And Farim recognized that mortals existing in the confluence of, or the nexus of creation is, he says, you know, I wonder what that says about, the souls of mortals. You know, what does that mean for them? What does that mean with Azeroth? Azeroth could be, I mean, again, like, we're talking about the creator, you know? Like, I mean, I don't know if I'd call the mortals balanced. I mean, you should, because that's what they are. Yeah, you should. I think the first ones are the original Pantheon of Order. I disagree. I think the first ones are the only 2 titans that we've ever had proof of actually exist inside of a world. You guys know we have 0 proof of it for any other titan, right? You know that only Azeroth and Argus have actually any proof that they were inside of a world, right? We've seen ourselves, and that we both believe we believe at this point that those worlds may have been prisons. So, just saying. Argus, once again, has memories that surpass the existence of the universe. I'll say it again. That surpass the existence of the universe. They're older than the universe. If you don't understand what that means, I cannot explain it to you. Argus is older than the universe. Like, just let that sink in for a second, you know? Everything. And if he's that old and can go in a sword and go with Azeroth, what does that say about Azeroth? She is not the last, but the first. Drown her and you will see. I'm confused on what you mean by mortals being balanced or the implications of that. Mortals are not aligned with any given force. Which means that they're everything. They're alive, but their flesh will decay, they will die. They're bound to death and to capacity. They seek order, they'll often cause chaos, and they themselves, through their decaying flesh, are considered a piece of entropy and chaos. Okay? They're born from the light, as all mortal life technically is, and will eventually and inevitably be reaped from the shadow. And that's where they'll go. Right? So like, when I say that mortals exist between all cosmic forces, they literally do. Like, everything. And that is not to say that mortals will... This is part of why you guys... Oh, let's join the light. Let's join the army of the light, and then the horde players can be void. Oh my fucking god. That's never gonna happen. Guys, you have to let go of the light and void fucking factions shit. That's never gonna fucking happen. Because we are not going to directly align with a specific cosmic force like life or death or etc. That's not gonna happen. Mortals are involved in everything. Like, their hand is in everything. Like, there's mortals that wield the light directly. There's mortals that wield the void, that wield order, that wield chaos, that wield life, that wield death. Mortals are in everything. That's what I'm trying to say. They don't exist as, like, their own individual little, like, force. Like, no, they're born of all of the cosmic forces, and thereby are, like, they're spread in all of them. Yeah, so hopefully that makes more sense.